Mr. Payton, this is Lieutenant Lazarus with the Daphne Police Department. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Just got your message. Just calling you back to see what I could do for you.
I'm not sure if you're aware. I know you're a part of the Daphne Police Department. I've spoken with captains, lieutenants, and now the chief about what
Okay.
happened on July 8th. I was in a car accident.
July 8th. Okay.
Are you aware of that or anything that's involved in that?
I am not. No.
Okay, I was in an accident on the 8th where Officer Hill reported to the scene.
Uh
Um,
huh.
he made a few mistakes in the report, like for one, he had the posted speed limit incorrect on the report, which had
Okay.
me the sole responsible party for the accident. When
Uh
I
huh.
when I looked into everything, I found the ordinance and everything that proved that the speed limit was 35, not 45. I
Okay.
came in, tried to speak with Captain Artis. He kind of just brushed it away, said there was nothing that they could do, that it really was nobody's fault, and that the officer wasn't incorrect.
Uh huh.
So, so I came in, spoke with the chief, made it clear that I was recording the conversation before we started. He then
Uh huh.
proceeded to tell me that the posted speed limit signs were incorrect, that the city of Daphne decides the speed, and that the state puts up the signs, and that the officer was correct and the speed limit signs were wrong.
Okay.
So I left, did my own research, found the ordinance, which is 20 dash, one second, I have it right here. Sorry, one second. So ordinance 2023-36 that states that the state decides the speed limit on the specific roads of Highway 90, Highway 98, and 181 where the accident actually took place.
Okay.
So it was in direct opposition of what your chief told me. So now,
Okay.
and before even all that happened, I spoke to, which was the lieutenant supervising, which was Lieutenant Andrews, who
Okay.
who also fed me a bunch of misinformation, told me that she reviewed my phone calls and that within the 15 days from my accident happening to me actually getting the information that I needed, that I never once asked for my vehicle, which caused me a loss of $980 at the tow yard, along with the
Uh huh.
15 days that I didn't have a vehicle, so I couldn't go to work. So that's
Uh huh.
loss of revenue, loss of property, everything else that's involved. And I sat down with the chief yesterday, tried to get all this cleared out, said he would like take the time to review all the voicemails, look over everything. I got through like half the voicemails and the conversations that I had before he had to go to the mayor's office. So I was
Uh
rushed
huh.
and couldn't get to a solution. It pretty
Uh
much
huh.
ended with him telling me that there was nothing your department could do for me, that if I wanted to get my money back and be reimbursed, that I'd have to take it up with the city. So now that's what I'm doing. I am filing complaints. I'm going through all the procedures I need to. So I was hoping I could sit down with somebody from internal affairs to go over all of this.
Okay. So
But
what is it that you want to go over?
so literally all the proof that I've collected, every conversation I've had has been recorded. Captain Artis has violated the Freedom of Information Act, told me I couldn't do a Freedom of Information Act request in Daphne Police Department. That was the one
Okay.
violation. Then you had Lieutenant Andrews tell me that I never asked where my vehicle was, causing me $900 in tow bills.
Mhm.
Officer Hill making the police report wrong, which caused my insurance company to put me at fault, even though there was a contributing party that wasn't put down on the
Uh huh.
report. I mean,
Okay.
so like, yeah, I want to go over all of this, make sure your department is aware of all of this, which I mean, I spoke with the chief, but
Yeah.
I would want everything written and documented that I have shown y'all this before I take it to the state with my lawyer, so or to the city with my lawyer.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
So,
It sounds like you've done all that already. When you've had your sit down meeting with the chief and Captain Artis and Lieutenant Andrews, it sounds like you've done all that and you've got all you need for whatever your next step is.
but no, I need an official internal investigation done
Okay.
and it be in a report. And if you guys say that there's no fault from Officer Hill, the lieutenant, the receptionist, the captain, and the chief, if they're not
Uh
at
huh.
fault, or if you find them not at fault, I want y'all to write that in writing so I can have that with my lawyer when I take it to court.
Okay.
So right
I'm
now
not
it's
sure
on.
what you're wanting internal affairs to investigate though.
Um, I want it's conspiracy to cover up an officer and other people in your department's negligence and incompetence. That's
Okay.
what I want you to
But
investigate.
I don't. You're wanting me to investigate my
The
entire department for that?
Sir, I have evidence to prove that Officer Hill wrote a false police or accident report, that he was incorrect, didn't do the research that he was
Okay.
supposed to do. Then I have his direct supervisor or his lieutenant telling me that he did nothing wrong, trying to cover for him. Then I have Captain Artis doing the same thing, then violating the Freedom of Information Act in your department. And now your chief telling me that a posted speed limit sign is incorrect.
Uh huh.
So, I mean, there's accusation after accusation. I mean, I want this investigated. I want a report done, and I want a copy
Hmm.
of the report.
Have you retained an attorney yet?
I have one.
Have you spoken to him about all this?
yes, he told me to gather as much evidence that I can that there's corruption or conspiracy to cover up police negligence and incompetence, which there is, and I have it, and to
So
sit
what
down.
what, what negligence is it that you're
The negligent,
accusing?
well, first of all, the negligence falls on Officer Hill, who did not do his job when writing a report. He didn't even
Okay.
investigate to see what the speed limit was. He just wrote something down.
Okay.
Then his supervisor, Lieutenant Andrew, well, nope, I don't want to skip one. Your receptionist, who took my calls and did not tell
Mhm.
me where my vehicle was for 15
Mhm.
something days. I think her name's
Uh huh.
Heather, or
Okay.
not Heather, the other one. But right after her, the lieutenant covering for this officer, telling me the reason why he didn't tell me where my vehicle was being taken was because I left in an ambulance, which I proved to the chief I didn't. Then she said I left of
Okay.
my own volition, which I didn't. Then she said I just disappeared, and that's why no one told me
Okay.
where my vehicle was at the scene.
Gotcha.
And then
Gotcha.
tried to tell me that even I have it on recording. I just reviewed it with the chief yesterday. Her saying I reviewed your calls on the 10th and the 11th, which was when I left my voicemail, stating I don't know where my vehicle is. I need to know where it is. She said she reviewed
Okay.
that, and then that I never once asked for my vehicle, even though the chief and me sat there and heard her say that and heard me ask on the
Okay.
on the 10th, 2 days after the accident.
Mhm.
So Lieutenant Andrews either negligence in not doing her job, incompetence for not doing her job, or she lied to cover up negligence and incompetence.
Mhm. So you're
I
based
know it's
on
crazy.
everything you're saying. Why do you think the entire police department would try to cover up
An officer's mistake.
what you accuse is an improper
Spe-
accident report that's written up? That doesn't sound like something that
spe-
that the whole police department would try to cover up as a conspiracy just because the speed limit was put down wrong on an accident
It
report.
wasn't just the speed limit, sir. There was multiple things wrong on the first report that I showed to the captain artist, who was
Uh-huh.
a crash reconstructionist for 15 years and a traffic homicide investigator. He looked at this,
Okay.
then falsely tried to tell me that a phantom vehicle accident in Alabama, this was his exact words, that if a vehicle was to run you off the road, if they never made contact with your vehicle, they're not a responsible party for your accident. He said that to
Mhm.
justify his officer not putting a person who waved me out into the road, as he put him as a witness instead of a contributing factor. Captain Artis said
So
the reason why he did
help me
that.
understand help me understand you, Mr. Payton. So the whole wreck started because you were pulling out of a private drive and somebody waved you through, and then it caused a wreck.
Yes, sir. And then in the state of Alabama, I've looked it up. You are taking on partial responsibility, if not complete responsibility, for that person's safety when you wave them out on the incoming traffic. He was put on the report as
where does it say that? You're still obligated to look before you pull out in front of it.
You are, and that's why I did not pull out past him. I pulled out in front of the RV, stopped, looked right to see if anyone was coming in the next lane over, which I assumed the lane that this guy had me blocked, that I couldn't see past his giant RV, knew there wasn't a vehicle coming. So I was looking the other way before I pulled out completely, and the very front end of my truck was struck.
Okay.
So in the state of Alabama,
where does it state in the law that person that waved you?
Right under duty of care in the state of Alabama. It falls under duty of care and negligence.
Okay.
I have it printed out.
It specifically states that?
Yes, sir, and I have it printed out. We can sit down and review it if you would like.
Okay. So here's my question. Did anybody identify this person that waved you out?
Yeah, and they put him on as a witness to the accident instead of a contributing factor. And Captain Artist said that.
What did this person say?
He on the police report, he said to the officer that he waved me out because he didn't see this other vehicle that struck me coming down the road. Specifically said that on the report, and the officer still didn't have him as a contributing factor. And then
so you think that he should have been the contributing factor and he should have had to pay for everything?
No, sir. I feel like he should have been partially responsible for the accident. So should have been the person that was speeding, who, because your officer wrote a wrong speed limit, she was said.
What do you mean they were speeding?
Sir, she was going 45 is what your chief told me. He said she was going the speed limit. Your officer said the speed limit was 45. The real speed limit was 35 at the scene of the accident. That means she was going 10 miles over the posted speed limit when she struck me, which would make her a contributing factor to the accident. Would she not?
I don't know the specifics on it, but I mean,
sir, sir, if someone's speeding and they struck you, they are a contributing factor. Is that true or not?
I mean, how do I know they were speeding?
She admitted to it, to the officer.
Okay.
Your chief told me I couldn't review the part of the body cam where she admitted her speed, but he told me that she said she was going the speed limit. Your officer said the speed limit was 45. He wrote her as going 40 in a 45 when it was actually a 35. So
well, it sounds like did she say she was going 45 or did she say she was going the speed limit?
I don't know, because your chief wouldn't let me review the body cam footage of when he was.
The first time you told me the driver said they were going the speed limit.
Sir.
So if the speed limit was 35, she was going 35.
Sir, look, when I spoke to the chief, I asked him if I could review the body cam footage of when he spoke to her. He said, no, I could only view the parts that had me in it. I said, all right, well, how am I supposed to see what her speed was or what she said her speed limit was? He goes, she said she was going the speed limit. And in your officer's report, he has the speed limit as 45. So, I mean, you can review the body cam yourself and see what she says she was going. But regardless, she was speeding. If she was going 40 or 45, it was a 35-mile-per-hour zone. And your chief tried to justify that by telling me the posted speed limit signs are incorrect.
Okay.
Does that sound... How does that even make sense that the posted speed limit signs are incorrect? And even if they are incorrect... I'm
trying to fathom why you would think that a police department would
because
go down.
Because they don't want to admit their officer was wrong. That's it. Instead of taking responsibility, assuming...
I've been doing this, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Payton, I've been doing this for almost 19 years, and several times in my career, we've admitted whenever our officer did something wrong, so why would we not do it in this? This is a very small and minor thing, if in case...
That is what I'm saying.
So I just don't think this is a hill that we would die on.
That's what that's why I'm wondering. I'm wondering why your department...
I'm trying to... If you're disputing the rec report, that's something that you can do in court as far as, civil court. If you're,
if it was just,
that's also something that you can dispute with your insurance company. But I feel like you're making it out to be this big mountain of conspiracy over something that
It's
in the
not.
grand scheme of things,
It's,
it's not something that is some big grand conspiracy because an officer put the wrong speed limit on a rec report.
right. Then why
I
wouldn't?
think, and two, I don't. I've worked with insurance companies for a long time as well, and this is something that you can probably directly ask yours, but they'll probably tell you that it doesn't matter what contributing or what it was. They're going to, the insurance companies are going to decide, um, who's at fault. It's not us.
Sir,
We just put down what's
they
reported to us.
rely heavily on the police report.
But they also rely on y'all's statements and what you say and what the other driver says, and then they take that into account. Especially if it's a dispute, they take that into account and they talk to all parties involved.
Right,
The
and
insurance companies talk to each other, and then they make that determination. So
right,
there's
and
really nothing. If what you're saying is not right on our report is not right, then you tell your insurance company that, and then they'll investigate that and determine whether or not they're going to take your word for it or not, or the other insurance company is going to take your. So in the grand scheme of things, if what you're claiming is a minor blemish on the rec report is not going to be the end all be all, they're still going to determine, that hey, he pulled out,
right,
he failed to yield the right of way. It's his fault,
right, and
ultimately. Whether or
right,
not there
and
was other contributing circumstances, they're going to determine, if he hadn't pulled out, this wreck never would have happened.
sir, may I speak now? Like I said, I
Yeah,
have
go
evidence
ahead.
of everything. I have every conversation recorded where your lieutenant and well, I'm not. Can I ask you a question? Your internal. Is the video camera in your lobby of the department? Is that audio and video, or is that just video?
In the lobby of the police department,
Yes, sir.
it's going to be just video.
Just video. All right. Well, then I don't have the only conversation I don't have recorded is between me and Captain Artis, where he violated the
Hmm.
Freedom of Information Act and then
Okay.
tried to tell me that if someone ran me off the road, as long as they never made contact with my vehicle, they wouldn't be a contributing party to the accident.
Hmm.
And like I said, he spent
Okay, but
15.
that example he gave really had nothing to do with your wreck. So
No, he said
even
the
if he
reason
gave an
why,
example that you didn't think was correct,
sir, he said the
it really had
reason,
nothing to do with your wreck, though.
sir, he said the reason why he was put as a witness and not a contributing factor is because our vehicles never made contact. Then he misquoted a phantom vehicle accident to justify his officer not writing him as a contributing factor instead of a witness. That was his reasoning for him not being
Hmm.
a contributing factor because our vehicles never made contact. That makes no
Hmm.
sense. You can be a responsible party for an accident and not make contact with a vehicle. And he should
Okay.
know that, being a 15 years on the job of specifically that.
Uh-huh.
So it's not him
Well,
being
I can't speak to the conversation you had with him or what he said or what he didn't say, but
right. But every
like I
other
said,
conversation I've had has been recorded, and you can review that to where your lieutenant
okay.
has either, like I said, either Lieutenant Andrews was incompetent and negligent and didn't do her job, which was review the messages and the audio from the voice call or the phone calls that I had with your department, and then or
Uh-huh.
she lied to me, straight up lied to me about me
What
not.
did she lie to you about?
She said in the 15 days that my vehicle was missing, that I didn't know where it was at, that I never asked for it. When I asked for it at the scene and 2 days later, and it
Okay.
cost me
Who?
$980 at a tow yard for a vehicle that should have never been towed. It was
Okay.
drivable on the scene.
Why was it towed then?
Because of Officer's Hill. He said, in his opinion, the vehicle was towed. The damage due to the vehicle would have to be towed. That was his expert.
How did you get home after the wreck?
I waited in the parking lot for 30 minutes for my father to arrive. I never left the
Okay.
scene. But yet your officer
Gotcha.
and your lieutenant said I disappeared when I walked 15 yards from the accident and waited in a parking lot for 30 minutes.
Okay.
She said she reviewed all this, and and while she was reviewing this, like I said, it's either negligence, incompetence, or straight up lied to me to cover up for her officer. Because she straight up says it. We all hear it. Me and the chief sat down. I recorded the entire conversation with me sitting there with the chief when she straight up said, I reviewed you on the 10th and the 11th, and you never asked.
Okay.
When me and the chief sat there and listened to the voicemail I left on the 10th stating, I need to know where my vehicle is, And no one told me. Not your receptionist, not your lieutenant, nobody.
Okay.
So it cost me
All right.
$980 just in tow fees. It would have cost me more, but the tow company realized that it was a messed up situation which your department put me in, and voided
Uh-huh.
from the day I called them to the day I picked up my vehicle. And it dropped it from
Okay.
like $1,100 something to $980, which I still had to come out of pocket because of your department. And now your
Okay.
chief said that there's nothing he can do. The only way I can get my money is if I straight up sue the city of Daphne instead of somebody just taking
Yeah.
responsibility and admitting they were wrong and fixing what they did.
Gotcha.
So now it's going to
Okay.
cost me more money. I'm going to have to get a lawyer to get all of this stuff and take y'all to court over something that should have just been fixed when I brought it to y'all's attention. But instead, I've done had to go
Okay.
through hoop and hoop and hoop.
Mm-hmm. And you said you've already spoken to your attorney about all this.
Yes, sir, I have. And like he said, I told him I had a meeting with the chief to review the body cam footage and all the phone calls and audio voicemails that I left. And he said, all right, make sure you record the conversation, get as much evidence as you can of conspiracy to cover up police negligence and incompetence.
Okay.
And I have all the proof. Every conversation I have, except for with Captain Artis, is recorded.
All right.
All the
Well, it sounds like if you have everything, just bring it to court with you, and or give it to your attorney and bring it to court, and then
so
go from there.
all right, sir. So I'm sure you heard it when the phone call first started. I am recording this phone call. Are you denying me an internal investigation? Are you denying, saying you won't even do the
I
investigation at all?
if your complaint is on the entire department,
Sir,
I cannot.
it's on 5 people. Your receptionist, the
Yeah.
Officer Hill, Lieutenant Andrews, Captain Artis, and the Chief Bugsby. It's 5 people in your department.
Yeah.
And I have
So it
evidence.
sounds like if you're claiming that it goes up that high, you have to go above our department.
All right.
I can't investigate my chief.
Well, can you give me the number to
That,
the district attorney?
I can give you. Let's hold on a second. You should be able to Google it. It's fairly county district attorney. All right, you ready for it?
Yes, sir. I'm recording the call.
251-937-0274.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
Nope, clearly not. I appreciate your time, and you have a good day.
All right, you too.
Bye.